Well, if the Venkys are listening and watching this, the message from the Blackburn faithful is very clear. Back Eustace now, spend money in the next 2 weeks, and this is the best chance they've got of getting out of the Championship. Welcome back to our Rovers Walk. It's week 25, and we've got a very passionate group of Blackburn fans ready to send that exact message. We're also getting AI to predict every single one of Blackburn's away fixtures to come. How many points will it give them, and will it be enough to keep them in the top 6? And following on from last week, who's the worst ever striker you've ever seen play for Blackburn? Last week, we asked about goalkeepers, and the team put Jake Keane in goal. This week, at the end of the video, so stay tuned for it, who's the worst strikers you've ever seen in a Rovers shirt? Delighted we've got the full team back with us here for first time seen in ages. We've got Mark, Jason, Tom, and of course, Harry. Thank you very much for watching. We are so close to 100 subscribers. If you can help us out, push that button. It massively makes a difference to us to be in triple figures. Thank you so much. We are recording this after the Oxford game and before the Coventry game, so by the time you watch this, the Oxford result is going to be old news. But Mark, we're going to start there if that's okay. Bad day at the office for Rovers?
Yeah, we really poor. I don't think any of us can have any complaints with that result on Saturday. I think again, it's just highlighting the lack of quality we've probably got. Couple of injuries, obviously Tronstad getting injured was a huge blow on Saturday as well. And I think we all said on the last Monday, I think we said it was either going to be a 0-0 or a 1-0 either way, and that's what it proved. So obviously when they got in front, I think that was pretty much again game over. There was no way back, but it was just just a complete lack of quality. And again, I know we're going to be going on to talk about it, but the need for more signings and try and bolster the squad as much as we can, because what we don't want to do is start falling away. I feel like we get to this stage in deja vu for the last 3 or 4 seasons where we don't get, the manager don't get backed, and then we start tailing off because of injuries and suspensions. So yeah, poor day at the office. Obviously we've got a game tomorrow night, so hopefully we can pick up and get back going again. And but yeah, no complaints with the result on Saturday.
It does feel a little bit deja vu, and I'll jump down to Harry first, because I'm pretty sure last January we were having the same conversation about Venkys backing a manager, and wasn't it when we had that ridiculous late transfer gone in and someone didn't fax from the club, the American guy, if I remember rightly, something like that. Does it feel a bit like that for you here again, Harry? A bit of the same. You've got a great chance to get in, but there doesn't seem to be noise from above.
Well, I think we're never going to be in a situation. If anyone expects Rovers to be big spenders in a window, I think that's naive. I don't think we're ever going to go and throw millions and millions of quid at a big signing. But we need to find ways to bring bodies through the door, and we've done that in the past with fairly limited resources. Like you said, Mark, this is as good an opportunity as ever to make that push for the playoffs. Bar the top 4, there's probably 8-9 teams all there and around that, if they put a good run together, could really cement themselves in that playoff race. And we just haven't got that quality in depth at the minute. You wonder where the goals are coming from, really. Obviously, Ahashi's out. He was our top goal scorer. Vyman gets a couple. But then you've got other forward players like Dolan, Hedges and Leonard and Gay, who don't get the goal contributions that a forward player starting week in, week out necessarily should. And he does need backing because he's getting frustrated. You could see sort of his demeanour on the touchline at times. He's frustrated at the limited options he's got available. And I don't know what the answer is, but you've got to back him with someone. I mean, Rovers have always done business fairly late in the windows, so I think that's a positive. To mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going to bring anyone in, but I don't think we should be expecting to bring in sort of a world beater. But yeah, bodies through the doors just for squad depth, people fighting for competition. Competition brings the best out in players, because we've got a really good chance here and we need to invest, because I don't think we're going to get this good a chance again in future seasons.
Yeah, well said. It was echoed in lots of tweets that very point. Chris says, Crisis Moss says exactly that point. you've made there, Harry. His body language on the touchline when he made the sub said it all. He knows he needs more options. Playing Leonard and hoofing balls up in the air just isn't going to work. Bano says, back him or lose him, you incompetent, whatever. Martin says, back in Venkys and Vaget. Best manager we've had in years. With the right recruitment, the playoffs are there for the taking. And that's what's frustrating, isn't it, Jason? That, if you look at the Middlesbrough results at the weekend, if you look at the, Watford can't win away from home, West Brom is struggling. If you can just get this run together, you're in the playoffs, and then we all know it's a lottery from then onwards.
Yeah, I was talking to a Sheffield Wednesday fan at work, and he was talking about the chances of getting in the playoffs, and I said, we're fifth in the league. We've won 1 and drawn 2 of our last 6, and we're fifth. It's ludicrous to even think you can be sat there. We've done nothing to deserve to be in the playoffs over the last, 4 or 5 weeks at all, but yet we're there. What, 1 win in our game in hand, and we're still there. And like consistency, a run like we had, the 6-win run, would probably put us 8, maybe 9 points clear of 7th place. It's that because the winning, losing every week. And I think it's a poor season. I'll be honest. I think it's a poor championship this year. I think you've got your battle at the top there. But the fact that we can win 1 game in 6 and still be fifth is a testament to the standing in the championship this year. We just need to try and get a run go. I thought the win against Middlesbrough, then the win against Portsmouth, are convincing. A great second half against Portsmouth. I thought that'd spur us on, but we looked very, very tired, very, very desperate for some help to come out. And to be honest, there was nothing coming off the bench help. There was just nothing worked on at the weekend, and I think that is alarm bells now. It's starting to look like last January and then the January before that now. So big 2 weeks coming up.
Yeah. Thanks, Jason. Do you think they'll listen, Tom? As 4-star here says, great coach. Venky's doing the annual thing. It says on here they can spend, but they won't spend. How true is that for you, Tom, that they can do something, just that they choose not to? And also here that some people pointing out about what Rudy's job is. The only 2 we've signed so far has actually been John Eustace contacting them and the agents themselves. Has he got a role to play in this?
I mean, it's a tough one, really, because you think we did a lot of business in the summer quite late on, and it was all doom and gloom for pretty much the majority of August until very late on. And we were all sitting here when we started this podcast, and we were thinking, oh my gosh, we're not going to get anyone, and we were favourites to go down. And then business was done. I don't think it's too much to worry about. We definitely do need a striker in. And, you hear rumblings that we're going to get a few loanee players in on free transfers, because the majority of the budget, whatever that may be, is going to go on a striker. Who that's going to be, I don't know, because as the boys have all attested to, we need to strengthen. It's the bench at the moment that's a bit concerning. We've got 16-year-old lads that have got no experience in the Championship on the bench. And I think because we've had such a strong academy for years, and we've had something like 600-odd games in a row where we've had an academy player in the squad, which is a testament to the academy and the work being done behind the scenes. But you can't keep relying on these young lads coming through and hoping that they're going to continue on this crest of a wave, because we need to do something. I mean, you can definitely see the coaching in Gay, and compared to where he was at the start of the season, he is changing, and I think we're playing to his strengths a lot more now. But all it takes is a couple more injuries. I mean, Weimann looked like he's hobbling off on the weekend. We've got Sigurdsson out. We've got, like you said, Ohashi's out. Leonard's not really match fit. Something's got to change, but I think there is money there. But gone are the days. I mean, Mark and Jason and I were chatting the other day about this, and gone are the days of spending millions upon millions of pounds on a player. And it's quite sad now to see other teams around us that I would deem smaller clubs in Blackburn spending 3 or 4 times our budget. But I guess that's where we are at the moment. So we've got to just hope that, trust in the recruitment process, trust in John Eustace that he knows what he's doing, and hopefully things in the next couple of weeks will change.
Okay. I was surprised that Burton Diaz went to Sheffield United, because if I was him, I'd want to go to a team where I'm almost guaranteed to to start. There are rumours, weren't there? I think that you might have been in for him for a loan.
I think it was the wages, Mark, that was the biggest stumbling block with him, because he's on quite big money at Southampton, and they can afford to pay more of his wages. I think that's what it was.
Well, his wages were an issue when he played for us, didn't he?
Yeah.
One of the players you rumoured to be in for as a attacking force is obviously coming to Ewood Park this week. By the time we watch this, he will have already played, and that's Thomas Asante at Coventry. Mark, do you rate him?
On the times I've seen him, I do think he's a good player. Obviously, what Rovers are needing, and we keep talking about his goals. And looking at his goal scoring record, he's not. I think it's fair to say he's not prolific. But I do think he will be a good addition. I think. I mean, whether a bid has been tabled or not, I don't know. There was rumours that we have put that bid in. So on the times I have seen him when he has come to Ewood in the past, I have thought he's quite a good player. So I'd be happy with that addition. And again, under Eustace, who's obviously we've seen what a good coach he is and what a tune he gets from all of his players. I'd be fairly happy with it. As I said, his record's not great. He's not prolific, but again, who else is out there at the minute? So yeah, I think to be honest, just take anybody at the minute. But no, if I think it would be an okay signing if we could get him. Yeah.
Okay. Any other transfer rumours we need to discuss before we press on from anyone?
No, I think they've gone quiet since last week. I think we had a few and it's gone quiet, which with Rovers in the summer, that normally means we've got 6 coming in about 2 days. That's normally what happens.
Okay.
I saw Lewis O'Brien's linked again, isn't he, with us?
Yeah, that's a strange one, actually. Yeah, I lie. Yeah, there is another rumour. Yeah, it's a strange one, that. I don't know why. Surely he's had enough of us. If you were in his position, you wouldn't want a conversation.
No, I know you wouldn't.
Just away from Blackburn for a side, one of the skips you noticed that Tony Mowbray is back in football. Potentially might be knocking you out of the playoff race. It's something like that always happens to Blackburn, doesn't it? Harry, how good is it to see him back in management?
It's brilliant. I think he's one of these faces in football that even before all the issues that he had off the pitch, he was loved by pretty much every club he'd managed. He was just sort of a figure of football that everyone sort of loved and respected. He's always played good football. He's always come across like a really good bloke. And for me as a Blackburn fan, I mean, I'm too young to remember some of the great managers we had in the Premier League. He's the greatest manager that I can remember from watching Blackburn in my lifetime. The way that he took that League One team, I mean, we were a sinking ship. He came in, steadied that ship. Doesn't get the credit he deserved from taking us straight back up from League One, because so many teams go down and stay down. But he completely revolved the squad, completely made it completely different. And the way he was able to adapt to the players that we had. I remember one season we had the most possession in the league out of any team, and then the next season we had the least, but we think we finished 7th or 8th in both seasons. So a completely different style of football, but still getting decent results with the resources and the squad that he had. So yeah, I mean, I can't. There's not enough superlatives for me to describe that man, and I'm so happy to see him back.
Yeah, Jason, you echo that?
Yeah, I was talking to my lad who's only 16, and he said he went, Have you seen the news? And I went, I have seen. He went, he just loves football. And I said, he lives and breathes it, and he is the epitome of a footballing man. He just lives and breathes it. I mean, he was ill, really, really ill.
Yeah, it was.
And I know a big problem when he was at Rovers. He used to talk about it a lot when things were going wrong, about the time he spends away from his family. So chuffed to bits for him, and I hope it goes well. To be fair, I hope they get 6th and we get 5th, because I wish him all the best. Just not at our expense, I hope.
Yeah, good. I think someone who pointed out he nearly managed all the teams in that playoff bracket. It's going to be a Tony Mowbray derby at Wembley, one way or another, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, and our Burnley fans are fretting as well, because they've suddenly realised with all their draws that they may have to end up playing you again in twice if things don't go their way. Right, let's focus on other things. AI last week predicted all Blackburn's home games to come. This week we've asked it to predict all the away games and how many points will they pick up. Let's have a quick look at what it said. It predicted 4 more wins on the road and 3 more draws, which isn't bad. Wins at Swansea, Derby, Portsmouth and Luton, and then draws at Bristol City, QPR, and of course at West Brom, as you visit Tony. Losses at Stoke, Sunderland and Sheffield United. So my obvious question to you, Tom, is would you take that if I offered it to you now?
I think I would, in all honesty. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some winnable games in there. Yeah, I think I would take that. I mean, I can see us getting a result against Bristol. I think West Brom will probably draw with Swans. Derby, I think we'll win. Stoke can be really temperamental. I don't think we'll lose to Stoke. Again, I told you, I think when I was doing a show on my own, and even though we lost to Stoke this season, they were absolutely woeful. And if it wasn't for their goalkeeper having an absolute stormer, I think we'd have put 8 or 9 past them if we had a better striker in goal. Portsmouth, I think, can see a win. Luton Town are struggling. I think if you ask me right now, I'd take that. I think, I'd have that happily.
I mean, on paper, guys, you've not really got a bad kind of running away from home, have you? There's only really the last 2 that you can, and the last 2 might even be just dead rubbers anyway by the time you kind of get there. So, good goings for Blackburn. Also, finally, of course, we've been asking for your worst ever Blackburn 11 as we have a bit of fun in January. Before we get to that, can you help us get to 100 subscribers? Massively love making this content for you. It's so hard to make any kind of success on YouTube, and we just want to get to triple figures. So press that subscribe button before we finish. Right. Last week we asked you for your worst ever goalkeeper. Jake Keane got the nod, I think, in the end from our conversations. We're asking you this week for your worst ever strikers. So a name each, if that's okay. And then we'll get the viewers to vote on who they think deserves it more. And you can pick the same one, of course, as I'm sure most of you will. Mark, can you kick this off for us?
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, how far do I go back? And I mean, again, like with the goalkeepers, we've had our fair share of really good strikers, but then there has been that 1 or 2 that haven't been very good. I think the lad last season, Televic, he was a bit of a flop. But he didn't play an awful lot of games, but obviously that didn't work out at all. The one I'm actually going to go for, hopefully the other lads will remember and agree, Chris Brown. he was just, I mean, again, we're going back about 8-9 seasons ago. He was really poor. I know he was good at Preston and a couple of other clubs, but don't think he actually scored a goal in Rovers colours.
37 games, no goals.
Is that what it was, Jace? Yeah, well, I mean, it speaks for itself. And I think, if I remember rightly at the time, there was a Twitter page called Has Chris Brown Scored Yet? And anybody that's got a Twitter page with that has to be in there. So, Chris Brown for me.
Right. Jason?
Yeah, that's who I had. As you can see, I've done my research. I think in his career, I think he was. I'm sure it said something like 350 games, 58, 60 odd goals. That's a striker. So he was crap all his life, wasn't he? Let's be honest. But no, it's got to be Chris Brown. He was off.
Yeah.
Okay. Harry?
A few names really. I mean, this wasn't easy. There was a lot to pick from. Brown crossed my mind. El Hadj Diouf was a consideration. But
Diouf.
I looked at his goal. 4 goals in 60 games was Diouf. I mean, that's.
I know. I think he had more red cards, didn't he? Than goals.
Yeah. I mean, the name I've gone for might be unfair because he didn't play that much. I've gone for Leon Best. Came with a fairly sizable reputation. Was quite a good young player. I think it was Newcastle. Was on big money. Was always injured. When he was injured, he was rubbish. Had a bit stinking attitude. I think we paid a decent amount for him as well. And it was just terrible.
Okay, all good shouts. This Tom, we've not left you with much, but have you got any others?
Yeah, I think obviously Chris Brown is a great shout, and he's made more of a career now, being a bit of a cold hero at Rovers by being a bit of a duffer. But I think when I was a child, when I was about 10, 11 years old, I was really, really excited at the thought of Kevin Davis coming to Rovers. And at the time, we broke our transfer record. I think it was something like £7.5 million from Stamford to get him. It's been almost the next Alan Shearer coming in. And he had played something like 23 games, scored 1 goal, and he was an absolute flop at the Rovers with all this promise to come on. £7.5 million. We snap your hand off for that money now. So to today's transfer market, that'd be worth 50+ million pounds, a lot of money. And he did not deliver at all on the pitch for a big man. And everywhere else he played, he seemed to do really, really well. But at Rovers, for whatever reason, it just didn't work out for him. So for me, I'd probably go for Kevin Davis.
Right. Great shouts all the way around. Thank you very much. You four, let us know in the comments if they've missed any. I'm sure some of you out there will be typing away furiously saying, I can't believe you've forgotten this guy. Let us know below. Thank you, Lou. You lot. Good luck against Coventry this week. And, of course, enjoy your trip at the weekend. We'll review all of it in 7 days' time. This has been Where Rovers Walk. Thank you for watching. Drop us a subscribe if you've not done so. Enjoy the football. See you in 7 days.